I am so excited for this trailer. For any of those that have missed any of my talks about the Hollywood greats that my mother has worked for, Miss Wendy Finerman, film producer of some of the greatest, most iconic movies ever, like Forrest Gump, Stepmom, Sugar and Spice, Drumline, P.S. I Love You, so many more, and of course, the iconic The Devil Wears Prada is one of them. Now, just a little context, Wendy is not one of the greats that I had the pleasure of meeting myself. Fun fact, she is actually the only one out of all the greats my mother has worked for in this industry or that my family is connected to that I never got to meet personally. However, jumping back to this movie trailer, as excited as I have been, I have also been a little nervous. I was recently telling my partner how, like, of course, I'm so excited for this sequel, but I am also a little bit nervous and I have some hesitation, and these are my reasons. We all know how difficult it is to follow up an iconic first film. Historically, a second one hardly ever does good as the first one, especially when the first one is such a massive hit. It's really difficult to follow it up and for it to not be a letdown. It's like trying to remake or create a sequel to something like Mean Girls. I mean, not good. Mean Girls, the musical, fucking awful. Great cast, love Renee Rapp though, but it just wasn't a good movie, and that's okay. A Devil Wears Prada 20 years later also opens up the question of what Andy could really be up to after all these years. Like, she just can't be working for Miranda after all these years, right? And I know it's just a movie, but like, come on. 20 years later, how really far up the ladder could she have really gone? So many questions. Is she the new Miranda? Will there be a new intern? And not just any other intern, an intern that's going to remind us on how Andrea got started. You know, in the iconic early days of her career where she was just awkward, not really up to date with fashion. You know what I mean? Like, basically what I'm saying is that there's really not a whole lot of room for it to be that much of a creative film, if that makes any sense. So I'm not gonna lie, I am extremely hesitant, but I am super excited nonetheless. This is the official trailer to The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Runway. It's not just a magazine. It's a global icon. A winding road that brings us back
Love, Nigel.
together again.
Hello?
Well, look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
Sorry. Who is this? Do you know her? Do I know her?
I'm Andy Sachs. Andrea.
She was one of the Emilys.
One of the what?
Am I having a hallucination? Hi, Emily.
You also know her?
We were at Runway at the same time, Miranda.
Really? Where was I?
Where would you like to start? I am the new Features editor at Runway. No, you are not.
Yeah, we are all so thrilled.
You know what's funny is you've changed. You have. You're much more confident. Kept those eyebrows, though, didn't you?
Well, they definitely left a lot of room for the curiosity of what really could be the premise of this movie. Which, listen, I'm not going to complain because I'm always bitching about trailers that give you just the entire movie in one trailer. It drives me crazy, so I'm not going to badmouth that part of it, but I do think that maybe this one was just a little bit too short. Like, it just wasn't in the middle enough for me. Like, obviously, it just looks really good. I'm super excited for the fashion. I'm super excited for all of it. I do love to see these familiar faces. I love Nigel's character and just love this original cast. And I like that in this trailer, they highlighted the fact that they are keeping this original cast in this sequel. However, I would have liked to have seen a glimpse of what the new cast is going to be. Not necessarily what their roles are going to be in this film, but just some teasing. And I don't know, maybe I missed it, maybe I didn't see it. I know that Sydney Sweeney is also a part of this cast, and so is Lucy Liu, and so is Caleb, such an awesome comedian. I cannot pronounce his last name, so not even going to try. But also Simone Ashley from Bridgerton. So there's definitely a lot of room of question of what and how they're going to be involved in this film. So I am excited to see a little bit of that aspect. I wish that they could have teased that just a little bit more. And again, maybe I just missed it because I am excited. As much as I know that there's room for disappointment in this sequel, I am excited. And so I don't know if they showed any of these new faces on there. I think I definitely have to go back and watch it a second time. But from first impression, I didn't really see them. Definitely no lines. So there's definitely no giveaway on these new characters and what they're saying, what they're going to look like, sound like, etc. It's also really difficult to underestimate something when historically, as a film producer, you've just been so incredible at it. I mean, this shit runs through their veins, specifically Wendy Finerman. It runs through her veins. It's just what she is so incredibly gifted at. Dorothy Canton, her daughter, she is killing it with this new trilogy of The Strangers. Like, who would have thought that the original with Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman could be revamped into a trilogy like this? So fucking good. I mean, The Wild Boar in chapter 2, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely gave it the side eye, but you know what? It was done so well. So just talk about good taste and something that's just running through these people's veins. So it's really hard to underestimate if this one's even going to be good or bad, a big disappointment, or is it going to surprise us all? I don't know. It's really hard to tell. Something I do think is worth noting though, real quick, is the beige Hollywood theory. And I actually don't know if that really is what it's being called, but I know that there's this theory that's been going around that I've come across a couple of times on TikTok or Instagram, and it's about how basically in a lot of films, there's this level of conservativeness with colors popping through the camera now in modern day movies. It almost seems like movie sets have gone more so in the neutral route, and I'm not gonna lie, this trailer is really the epitome of that, because aside from like the big red dress, right, and I'm not really talking wardrobe, I'm just talking sets in general, it is very beige, very vanilla, very neutral. There really aren't big pops of color in this set. And even in that scene where Meryl is sitting with Anne Hathaway in their office, there's some color missing. And I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's maybe that theory that has gotten in my head, but I'm definitely going to do some research on some side by sides to see. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? Has anyone else noticed this change in Hollywood movies or just movies in general? Like, have we really gone away from having pops of colors and things on set, and now it's just really vanilla, very neutral? Which, listen, I'm a very neutral bitch. I love my blacks, my whites, my grays. I don't really do a whole lot of pop of color specifically throughout my house, but in movies, I do think it's a little bit strange. There's just no life to color in the sets anymore. I don't know, maybe I'm just sounding super old and old school, and I definitely don't want to do that, but it's just a theory that just popped into my head. What are your guys' thoughts about it? And obviously, do not lie. Let me know, what do we think of this movie trailer? Is it going to be a hit, or is it going to flop when it premieres in May? Let me know what you guys thought of The Devil Wears Prada 2, the official trailer. Let me know. Okay, also, before I officially log off, was anyone else low-key a little bit disappointed with Madonna's Vogue as the music in this entire trailer? I feel like that was such a big song in the original, the first one, so that almost had this like lingering of what the first one already was. Like, I wish musically we also could have just changed it up a little bit and just maybe had something a little bit more modern, more exciting. I get that they want to honor the first one, right? Like, we also don't want them to get too far away and too far ahead from what the first one was, but it was just a little bit too similar for me. And again, it's really hard for me to shit on this because I am so excited. But comments, thoughts, anything about that? Was anyone else just slightly a little bit turned off by the fact that it just seemed like the first one? I definitely don't want to get too discouraged. I'm obviously going to support and definitely going to watch it, but I just wish that just musically alone, we could have revamped that. Like it's just too similar to the first one. And I'm sorry, Madonna, Vogue, iconic, but a little bit overplayed if you ask me. Anyway, that's my final thought. I will see you guys again next week. Have a good one.